Howdy y'all, welcome back to Cam Shack Productions. Today we are out in the middle of the West Desert on what was a very cold night last night. I got here late last night. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Today I did not, sorry everybody. Brutal. I have to say, it looks pretty good. I'm gonna watch a movie now. Check in with you guys either later or in the morning. Who knows? Setting this thing up in the dark was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It worked out pretty well. Again, the one thing I have a suggestion is OneTigris, all other tent manufacturers, tie your guidelines to your tent so we know exactly how you want us to use them, because your instructions don't tell you. Now that rant's out of the way, so this is the OneTigris Stella. It is a 20 denier nylon fabric, rain stop fabric around the entire shell of the tent and the rain fly. And the floor of this tent is a 40 denier ripstop nylon. So this tent is only 4.5 pounds, and it comes in for about $180 to $195 depending on the time that you're looking. So for an under $200 tent, this is supposed to be a 4-season compatible tent. It got cold last night. I would say it got down into maybe 25, and I did not get cold at all. Now again, the reason I did not get cold is because I actually brought the correct gear to sleep in. Doesn't matter what your tent is, it doesn't matter if it's a 4-season or not. If you don't have the right sleeping bag, sleeping pad, you can easily freeze to death. So please make sure you know. A little iced coffee this morning. Oh, this is absolutely a gorgeous spot. And I'm the only one here because it's cold and people aren't crazy. So, back to the OneTigris Stella. It is a 4-season tent. It has ventable zipper doors. Mesh. Both doors do it. It also has the ability to go flyless or with the fly. And I can tell you that in sleeping in this last night, I stayed exceptionally warm. Now that I'm in here and I've had a little time, it is actually quite warm. I did not have any condensation on the interior of the tent, and I don't know if it just didn't get cold enough or if I just was just me and it does that well. So I will be testing this some more here in the future, but overall, this thing seems pretty stellar. So the doors have a zip open mesh now. That is a new feature in the updated version from the originals, which came out I think about a year ago. This tent weighs 4.5 pounds. For a 4-season tent that did what it did last night, which was completely block the wind. The nylon fabric definitely is movable, and once it gets wet, it will stretch, so you're going to constantly have to be doing some tightening on it, adjustments of your guidelines and things like that. But again, I think for the amount of money you get, this is a pretty stellar 4-season tent. Now, if it stayed as warm as it did inside of this thing on a normal camp trip, I would not want to use this tent. So I don't really know if it could be one that can go from, desert sun at 100 degrees to below 0 temperatures. I don't know if it will fit in that range yet. The mesh zippers on the doors would help. And if it's really warm, you won't have the rain fly on, which is black, so it will attract heat for sure. And that is the other thing I like the black and white in this tent. I think it looks really good, and I think it'll help keep you warm in those colder months especially. But overall, I think this is a pretty good deal. I think this is a pretty nice tent, and I have OneTigris tents. I have the OneTigris Bungalow, I have the OneTigris Rock Fortress Hot Tent, and I just think for what you get out of the money, these guys do a good job. And yes, it is a Chinese-made company, but these are some of the better tents, and I feel like you could get something similar on Amazon that is not going to do what this thing will do. It's got 2 poles, so one main connector pole that has all 4 pieces, and then just a top pole that holds the rain fly open and extends the top of it. Now, let me show you guys the inside, because it is definitely not as roomy as I would like it to be. All right, so double zippers, one for the top, one for the bottom. All right, y'all, so this is the actual inside of the tent. It's starting to get sunny and nice outside. Check that out. I mean, beauty. But I wanted to show you guys the actual interior of this in the light, not just in the dark and a little emptied out. So last night I slept with my down bag, my sleeping pad. I had another sleeping pad, and then I have a piece of foam underneath this. And I put the foam under there because I wanted to see what it'd be like if you use like a Nemo Tensor, one of the wider pads. And I can tell you that having two people in here would not be easy. I mean, there is not a ton of room. You would definitely have to go head to toe. And who knows, maybe if your partner has smelly feet, that would be really bad. But I mean, for one person though, this is a nice luxury. And again, it's 4.5 pounds. You got a big pocket here, you got a small pocket here, you got a small pocket, and you got a big pocket right here. And then there does look like there's a place where you could hang like a gear loft, but it looks like you have to purchase that separately. And then you also have the hook that you can hang your lantern or your headlamp, things like that. So the doors do all roll up. And as you can see, there are double doors that are pretty nice. And there is mesh. So if you wanted to use this in a warmer season, I still think it would be warm, like I said earlier, but you know, for what you get, what you pay for, this thing is pretty sweet. So I'm gonna get camp packed up and make some breakfast and then head on home. But OneTigris, well done yet again. This is my third tent that I own of theirs, and I really like them. So what do you guys think? You think it's worth it? I mean, I think it looks pretty darn good. Not the biggest vestibule space. You're definitely gonna get a pack wet, so you're gonna want to either fit it inside with you and yourself if you're just doing this, but if there's two of you, you're definitely gonna have to find a way to wrap your pack, because the rain flies just, you know, they're kind of compact to try to keep the heat in. I get it, you know, and it's not like a lot of really $1,000+ expensive 4-season tents that they're living in at Everest where they have to be cooking in it and all that. So take it for what it's worth, guys. $250 or less than $200, sorry, you know, and under 5 pounds. Impressive, in my opinion. Impressive. All right, y'all. So I think for under $200, this is a really good bargain for an entry 4-season tent. I would not take this to Everest. I would not take this to a place where you're going to have 30 feet of snow, because I just don't know how well it could handle all that weight. And I will be doing this a bunch this winter. I'm going to get out and try this thing out. So if I find any problems with this tent, I will actually make another video and let you guys know. But again, for the initial setup, the initial use on a cold night, for under $200, for under 5 pounds, 4.5 pounds for this tent, it's a stellar deal. Get it? Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right, y'all. So please remember, if you do want to pick this up, I will leave a link in the description. I have become an Amazon affiliate. I figured if you all are going to click on those links, I might as well try to make a little money. But I did buy this tent all on my own. This is stuff that I am still purchasing and actually testing completely without anybody's interference whatsoever. I do have a couple companies actually sending me some products, but they're sending them to me just to test with no obligation to be on their side or not. So I think this is a great deal for, again, under $200. What you get out of it, you can't go wrong. And if you do want to pick it up, click my link, help me support the channel that way. And if you really want to support the channel, go down and hit the like button. And if you're feeling super generous, subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you all back in the next video. Man, it gets cold and it's like nobody wants to camp anymore. You have the whole place all to yourself. I was hoping to see some wild horses. There's supposed to be wild horses out here, but haven't seen them yet this morning. We'll see. Definitely want to make sure you stake those out. And again, I tied to both guides. I'm just tied to the upper one. The lower one looks like it's a way to hold your rain fly out.